deliver for them in the best way that we know how.
Do you have any trips planned in March, Premier?
Yes.
When?
I've got a couple. I'll be at the mining conference next week. I'll be at the seafood show. I'll be at the energy conference. I'm not sure if it's in March or April.
Is that part of what's motivating the accelerated approach you're using here?
No, that place is in very capable hands when I'm not here. We have a very capable team. I have complete confidence in the team that we have to move things forward through the legislature. I'm just one of 55 in the legislature. My main job is to promote Nova Scotia and grow the economy. And this is actually what is happening. I'm actually taking my lead from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is saying it's time for us as a country to to hustle. And every premier across this province, except the Premier of BC, who I think wishes he could be out promoting his province more, but it has a one-seat majority. He said, I only have one-seat majority, I can't be out as much, I have to be more strategic. But every other premier is out promoting Canada and promoting their province. And in fact, when we had the FMM, the Prime Minister was very clear that he wanted not only people to do that, but maybe some more coordination so we could, it's helpful for me when the Prime Minister has been to a jurisdiction and I come behind and they say, hey, your Prime Minister was just here, they did this, they did that. So I said, Prime Minister, you create a wake and we try to follow through. So I think it's really important. I think Nova Scotians, they expect that the Premier of the province is promoting the opportunities. So we had a long period of time where nothing was happening to promote management of decline. I won't manage decline. I'll give everything I have to grow the economy of this province, and that means going and looking people in the eye. We see that in particular on the oil and gas file. We know what's happening. Even now, there's some skepticism because they say, well, the opposition politicians are saying this shouldn't be happening. So I have to go and look them in the eye. And when I asked senior executives in that industry, are you thinking about Nova Scotia? They're clear. We haven't thought about Nova Scotia in 10 years, 15 years. And I said, well, I need you to think about Nova Scotia. So we will continue to promote the opportunities. We have significant opportunities in this province. The legislature will work. It will function completely fine with me, whether I'm here or not. I like being here. I've always enjoyed being here, but I have responsibilities to Nova Scotians that I have to fulfill as well.
I want to ask you about cuts, because people are finding out today and yesterday about how their groups and organizations and entities are affected by cuts. And one of the things that you said on Monday was that's a necessity to protect core services, that you're focused on core services, and that everybody is doing their part to contribute to that. And so I wonder if, in light of that, and before you come after me for this, I want to point out that this is not a comment on the people who do the jobs, but is it a core service for the Premier to have a personal lawyer and a personal photographer at a time when everybody is being subject to cuts across the board?
I wouldn't think there's a Premier in this country or in the history of this province that doesn't have a chief of staff. I have one.
I'm not commenting on chief of staff, but your chief of staff is also your personal lawyer. She's billed that way every time she's referred to in news releases. She's paid much more than any previous
She's the chief of staff and general counsel.
Right.
It's very helpful, actually, to have a lawyer in government and making significant decisions. Very, very helpful. I have a great chief of staff. I think this is something that we see that's kind of, it'll be when people say to me, what's the worst part of politics? It's stuff like that. And I'll tell you why, if I may, sure. Right? So I get that there are people whose job it is to make me look bad. I get that. I get that there are people whose job it is to kind of smear me and try to bring me down. I get it. But when we have people going after judges now, like where else does that happen? Who else is going after judges? You know who else? Donald Trump. No, if I may.
And I want to be constructive.
Well, let's use it carefully then, because you're making. You're asking a question about the usefulness of people who aren't me. You're asking a question about. So I just want to respond to it.
Respectfully, sir, I'm framing this in the sense that you have a Justice Department full of lawyers. Everybody has a chief of staff. You're right. You need one. Everybody in this room understands why. What's not clear to me, because you're the first premier to have someone who also functions as your personal lawyer, why that is necessary.
I don't know.
At a
Not
time
my
when
personal
Hope
lawyer,
Blooms
it's
is
a lawyer.
losing money and the Brain Repair Center is losing money.
There are lots of chiefs of staff, and there are many that have been lawyers as well.
Are they paid extra because of it? Because your chief of staff is paid much more than prior chiefs of staff.
I have the best chief of staff in the country, and she has a great value and worth. And look, you can talk about people in my staff. We used to have a whole department called Communications Nova Scotia. I think when we made some changes to that, there was probably a few stories written about people up in arms. How dare you? Because we moved them into other departments. So the premier has some of that too. But I think it's a very kind of slippery slope. And I just want to finish that thought, because it really starts to undermine the justice system when people in positions of power, or when people have a pen and they start to question the quality of judges.
Have you seen anyone?
Yes.
Have you seen anyone
Yes.
in this province question the quality of
Absolutely.
judges?
It's been said many times it's been asserted many times that a certain judge was only appointed because he was a campaign manager. That's ridiculous.
I would like you to show me the news story that does that, sir, but I would also like you to respond to my question about having a personal photographer. Is that a need to have or a nice to have at a time when many organizations are being underfunded now?
I think when you talk about understanding the message of government and getting messages out, there's lots of message in the world about how bad government is. We ever see that? Anybody ever see that? So government also does a lot of things that promote community, support community. That's a message that's worthwhile for the mental health of Nova Scotians to receive. So I think these are good people who work hard for the province. There's lots of them. It's a tough time. There's an incredible opportunity for this province. I'll continue to focus on that. I'll leave the smear and the doom and gloom to the others, but I appreciate it. I won't be here for question period tomorrow. I have an announcement with the federal minister on a very significant energy project. I will be here later in the day. I'm happy to do a scrum at that time as well. Thank you, guys.
With the shrinking public sector, some of the folks outside are worried about their workloads increasing. Do you share that concern?